Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Esther Franchuk and I'm a professional artist, dreamer, traveler, painter. And this vlog is a studio update vlog, so I will show you everything I have been working on lately and all the paintings I started or finished. But before we dive into it, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will not miss any of the new videos. So this week have been a bit slower because I got some minor cold, so I was not feeling so well for most of the week, but I still managed to work on multiple pieces. So I worked just a little bit on this abstract. This one is like just taking me so many trials and experiments. So from the last time I basically added this whole stripe of orange and all of these dots. I really don't know how much I should work on it. That's why I even put it already in the frame just to see how it's gonna look from the distance and how much it needs. Of course, it still needs some work, but I really love how the sea feeling going on all over here, so I don't want to overpaint it too much. But I know the upper part for sure needs a bit more details and to be just more concrete of what it is, or just another color and not as strong of a contrast. But I for sure happy with that one. And also this part, I just don't want to cover it up somehow. So I'm really wrestling a bit with this piece and seeing how much it takes. And I worked also on this one. This for sure is still far from being done, but I layered more textured and put some more color. I feel like a lot of white would be a good solution for this one. I was going for this aerial view kind of feeling, and I imagine just all of these rivers coming into the sea. But then I still want to make it as an abstract, and this week basically has been focusing more on this Australia inspired pieces, and I'm still figuring out how I want to make them abstract paintings and not too detailed and not too illustrative of what I'm trying to portray, but more a feeling that I had when I was there, and just the essence of the beauty of the nature and green hills and the water, the waves, all of it. It was just so breathtaking when we've been there, and I felt so immersed into the experience and into all of these new colors and shapes. It was just really, really beautiful. So I'm trying to bring vision to life, but it's a journey to get there. So we will see how they develop. And those two are another two pieces that I have been trying to finish this week, but they are already in the oils and they have a lot of layers, but I'm still finding the exact right composition and the feeling that I want to go with. So I think they will still need one or two painting sessions. I'm not quite sure. With this process, it's always one day it's just a lot easier, and the other days I think I'm gonna finish something, but it's just not happening. So creative process is tricky sometimes, but consistent work for sure helps to stay in good shape. I'm feeling every time when I work for a longer amount of time in the same color palette, which I did now with butterflies and all of the pink and yellows and all of this warm soothing shades, when I wanna switch immediately to a completely different color palette, which is this ocean kind of style, it's a bit challenging to get back into the just finding perfect color solutions when it's completely different color palette. So that's just some of the reflections, and it has been interesting to find those solutions in the moment, in the making. And it's also a really good exercise. I realized that it takes a lot of practice still to achieve mastery with color. So yeah, I'm really happy with those though. They have been a bit too they had too many outlines before, and this one still has a bit. So this one I completely just softened all of the edges and I'm way happier with it. The initial idea was to portray this like feeling underwater, just the coral reefs and like when you dive into the ocean and there's like all of this plants and fish, but it's kind of a bit blurry and there is the sun coming through and like all of the shades. So that's what I'm going for with those pieces. Pretty soon I'm gonna show you guys the final result, hopefully next week. And last but not the least, this piece I just started yesterday and we unstretched the North Wind and we shipped it unstretched. So we got this huge wooden frame sitting in the corner and I'm like, I just need to paint a whole another piece. So we got the fabric, like the canvas, and Paul was so nice to stretch it for me. And we went to a building supply store sometime last week to get some cactuses, and then he got himself electric stapler because he said he needs to have fun in the moment, and with electric stapler apparently he has more fun stretching my canvases. So finally what would I do without you, baby?
That's good for me to do some work on, actually. I just laugh. I would be so unhappy if we would have gotten that manual one. It was just so much fun.
Finally, the canvas was stretched this week. It was just staying there and yeah, I just felt like going for it. But this time I actually did it a bit differently. We looked at some references to like the possible interiors, just like interior research, and I started imagining where would the piece go to, because I was like, should I go with this color palette or this color palette? And in most cases I just go with my first feeling, like wherever I'm feeling to paint. But this time I was like, what if I just look for inspiration for the interiors first and just like really imagine what I would like to create and for what space. So I never really painted the green like full-scale abstract before. I did miniatures, but yeah, I never really went for this forest green, and I was like, just really feel like painting in forest green and some oranges and just more like wood cabin type of style, but not for a cabin. I don't know, just some inspiration. We went for the mountains recently as well. We stayed in the cabin, so maybe that's part of the inspiration, because it was just like this like lushing forest all around and rivers and waterfalls, so a lot of shades of green and a lot of wood. So maybe that was an inspiration subconsciously, just now thinking about it. But looking at the interiors and also having this feeling about green, I just like felt like going with this piece, and I changed the composition and decided to make it horizontal instead of vertical. I gravitate towards vertical most of the time, but again, to challenge myself and also imagining interiors and imagining this as this like huge statement piece over the couch somewhere in the living room. There's like really wide, inviting space. I felt like, yeah, it just feels good feels right to go with those colors and with the size and composition. Had a lot of fun with it. So basically all of this progress is from yesterday already. I took those huge brushes and mixed the colors. It's actually also inspired a lot by Australia. When we were there, we also went to the waterfalls and to the hikes. So when I started Australian series, I thought it's more like ocean blue, like corals. But as I was working on this piece, I also realized like all of our mountain hikes and all of the funny scribbles on the trees and funny shaped mushrooms, all kind of new plants and vegetation that we saw there kind of influence this work also. Pinks are to complement just from the sunsets and sunrises and colors of the sky on the contrast with the green. So yeah, felt really inspired yesterday. I had a lot of other things on my agenda to keep working on, like those pieces are haunting towards me, like everything that I started, and I'm like it taking me weeks and months and I could not finish it, like kind of looking from the side of the studio like, hey. But when I'm feeling in the moment just inspired by a completely different idea, I have to go with it. So that's what happened with this piece. And in the same time, it's really helpful and good to have something going on in acrylics, because most pieces that I'm working right now, they're in oils already, so they take a lot of slower progress and a lot of time drying in between. So I felt like I need something fast-paced to get myself back into momentum of painting, especially after I have been sick and slow. So super pumped about this piece and can't wait to share with you guys the progress, because it has been challenging in the color palette and in the size, but super fun to work on, and I have a feeling it's gonna be another break for painting. I hope you enjoyed this video and the update on the latest painting going on in the studio. All of them are Australia inspired. Still planning our trip to Australia, don't really know the dates or where it's happening, but working towards it, and at least working on the painting to really capture the inspiration from the previous trip, but really excited about this whole series and our next journey. Stay tuned for the next vlog, and I will see you guys next week.